Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Superboss Showcase, and today we're going to be fighting against probably the most infamous of the Superbosses. This is going to be Tyrannotitan Kurodil, a very interesting boss in that he is very textbook as far as encounters go. He has no real massive surprises and tricks up his sleeve. It is a fairly straightforward battle. That being said though, he does have some very dangerous tools that'll catch you off guard and will inevitably result in a wipe if you're not prepared for them or willing to manage your invincibility cooldowns around it. So basically what's going to happen here with this boss is we're actually going to use the same setup that we use for Artifice Ophion, or a very similar setup. We're going to try to build at least 6 orbs. 4 is the bare minimum that you need, but remember, if you need more assurance that you'll actually be able to seal the deal on the chain attack, then it would be beneficial to have at least 6. So clearly over here we have 4 elements in the form of Mithra with her 2 elements, Ursula and Pandoria. We're also going to be using Cassandra, Theory, and Finch for our tanks. Now, the thing about having a tank on any team is don't be afraid to add an offensive type blade. Like in previous videos I had been using Zenobia, but the thing is though, whenever I did use Zenobia, I ended up making the fights a lot shorter than they absolutely had to, so I've decided just to give myself the restriction. But if you guys have it, then by all means give that a whirl. As well, there is going to be our attacker, and our attacker is going to be consisting of Herald, Sheba, and Wolfric. The thing about Herald that I just want to let you guys know, she is a very, very vital attacker for this particular encounter. This is mainly due to the fact that she has the highest damage output in the game, but the trade-off is that she can attract aggro like no other, so you really have to be careful when playing around with this. That's why it's important to try to assume the role of a healer as easily as you can, because there will be times where Herald does take the aggro, but again, we are using a crit build, and that means that we'll be able to build up our meters really quickly to sort of keep that aggro moving along and away from Herald, so just keep that in mind. Also, I just wanted to note that Tyrannotitan Kurodil has an annoying Reflect ability. Now, theoretically, you could build the Reflect immunity Aux core that you see here. The problem with this, though, is that you do so at the cost of damage, so if that's very important to you, then I don't recommend doing this one since it's only available on whoever it is active on. I would really just have it as sort of a precaution and just leave it there and hope that you'll never need to use it. It's a very annoying fight. Like I said earlier, Tyrannotitan Kurodil is a very textbook fight, and he was designed to sort of be the bookend to your experience playing this game, being the highest leveled enemy. This is mainly just due to the fact that he's designed to try to steal the momentum from you. He will constantly be doing instant kill moves, and it'll be your job to sort of maintain those or think reactively and build your level 4 combos to use invincibility against him to survive. But that's basically it though. I mean, we do have a setup that'll help us build up our meter as quickly as possible so that we can build up our orbs as quickly as possible. The accessories we'll be using for Zeke and Morag for this video is going to be the same as before: titanium vest with a burst symbol, just because we want more survivability. Most of his attacks actually do quite a bit of damage, especially at Rampage Train. Even in the first phase, they do no more than 8,000, so you just want to make sure you're constantly healthy all the time. Rex is going to be the exception. We are going to give him an avant-garde medal. I was considering giving him a Omega Drive so we can build up the meter much faster, especially with the level 2 combo of Mithra. But I decided that health will be more important, because remember, you can't die if you're always at 9,999 HP. So that basically does it. Like, there's not really much else I can say that we haven't already covered in previous Blade showcases, because we fight against this boss a lot, and this is just me trying to give myself as many restrictions as I can before I can provide an example for you guys. But that's basically going to be it though. This is, for all intents and purposes, probably like the beginning of a post-game setup for you guys, and really, like, theoretically anyone could just build a Poppy QT Pie and solo the boss, no problem, but for those of you guys that aren't able to do that yet, or not willing to do that yet, then I think this party setup that we have, like somewhere along these lines with the elements that can be interchangeable, especially if you find that maybe some of the blades are on different drivers, feel free to experiment. But that's the nice thing about Kurodil is that he's essentially just a big punching bag, a big scary punching bag with claws and Gatling guns, and he is the ultimate test for figuring out which blade combinations work best for you. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut the video, and I will see you guys at the boss fight. You guys are way too used to me seeing, so I'll see you there. Oh boy, did you guys miss this place? I know I did. So yeah, same business as usual. Again, we are using Crit Mithra. Very, very beneficial build to start off with, and due to the fact that she's a light element, it's actually quite easy to build up some orbs using her, particularly the light, fire, and water elements, actually. And like I always do before, I like to sort of count in opposites whenever it comes to building up my orbs in order, just so it's easier for me to keep track. Obviously, it is pretty easy to lose track, especially in the heat of battle. I do wish that it was possible to sort of have something on the screen that would show me, but since that's not the case, we just have to do everything mentally. So we're off to a pretty quick start right now. The nice thing about Shiba's special is that we get some free money out of this. And we do have a twin barrel autocannon going on. I should have switched to the healer for that one, but I'd much prefer just losing all that aggro. Having Zeke die, but then he loses all the aggro, and then that's when we would start moving things around. Like, I don't mind tanking nearly as much, because remember, we are using a crit heal build, and her level 2 combo especially is extremely potent. Mithra's, I mean, just because of how many times it hits. You can build up your meter really quickly with this one. Okay, so here's going to be second sun. The nice thing about having Pyra do her combos is that it's instantaneous, so if you need an emergency cooldown, then you can do a level 3 with Pyra, assuming that everything is set up beforehand. Okay, so we have ourselves this one. I see a Murder Ray coming in. I have people with debuff cancel, and hopefully that should be okay. Unfortunately, I did not get the debuff cancel for this one, so I actually should have switched to someone else. But that's alright though, like now the aggro is on Modag, and I would much prefer that, to be honest. So since we're here, we might as well just make use of what we have. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to build two levels of ice, which shouldn't be that difficult. 2 levels of ice is fairly easy, and I want to have a level 2 variant because Ursula's level 2 combo is a team heal based on how much damage I do. So here we go. It's also one of the faster ones, I believe. Okay, so here's going to be the level 2 ice, and hopefully that'll clue in Zeke to switch to Wulfric. So here we go. And while I'm waiting for that one, I'm gonna start getting ready with my with Mithra. Okay, so Zeke's not gonna switch. He's just gonna let Modag wait for the Gravity Blizzard. I think we can pull it off actually, because we have the items that are increasing her special cooldown. So let's see how quickly she can do it. Probably gonna mash ZL for the duration of this. Oh, we were so close. That's okay. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and build ourselves a lightning orb instead. Okay, so I see that he's doing the cannon. I'm actually just going to wait until he does something scary. Like, I feel like an Ultra Annihilation Flare is coming up, because you see how low his health is getting. Once it gets to like level 3... sorry, not level 3, 1/3 rather, of his HP, then we're actually going to see some scary attacks. Also, his Titan's Awakening, so here we go. Just wait for it. That's one of the other things too, is that like this fight, I've done it many times beforehand, and like that's kind of what it comes down to as well. Your advantage is just like to maybe lose a couple of times to get an idea of when he's gonna start doing attacks, because yeah, like once he loses about 1/3 of his health, he'll start priming for an Ultra Annihilation, and I want to make sure I can invincible my way through that. Also, thankfully, Zeke has decided to play smart and use the blade that has the reflection. Okay, do you know what? Okay, so that's not happening then. I think it has to be a little bit more, so what we're going to do is that we're going to prepare for that. Actually, we could. We're probably going to reserve the level 3 combo, the Heaven's Bolt, for Zeke. And while that's going on, I'm going to play healer. Okay, so just like I expected, Heaven's Bolt, go. Right on time. So yeah, it's just a matter of like playing along, like playing a lot, seeing the my entire team died many times to this attack, and eventually just learn to look out for it. But that's one of the things though, like the keys to beating Tyrannotitan. Okay, so we have 3 orbs flying around. We're probably gonna only be able to do 4 unless we end up killing him. So how about we get ourselves 3 levels of light? And I think that should be fine. Yeah, 3 levels of light, I should be able to build it myself. That's one of the nice things about Mithra, she's very self-reliant. So here we go. Rampage Train. That's going to do a number on Zeke. Zeke is going to be dead. So what's going to happen here is, now that I have the aggro, I can now spend more time dedicating my resources to him. And just like that, see, Herald gets this really, really quickly. Herald really gets those quickly. Here comes the Supernova. That aggro, like, as soon as he died, and I landed several hits on him, Herald just went ahead and took what was rightfully hers, the aggro. Okay. Okay, so now this is going to be the part of the fight where I have to wonder. You know what? Switch over to a healer. Here comes that Murder Ray that I hate so much. This is going to be a little bit tricky. Okay, so okay, thankfully I didn't expend my meter. Like, if I waited a little longer, then I would have expended it. But here's what's going to happen. We are actually going to build we're going to build a Wind Orb with this. And that should be curtains for this fight. Or I could do 2 levels of this. Oh, no, I can't, no. Sorry. I was thinking, like, I could make water, can't I? Here we go. So yeah, we're going to do this. And right on time for the attacks. Yes, one of the nice things about activating the attack is that they'll always be left at 1 HP. So I'm going to have to quickly switch into a healer for this one. Never mind. Oh man. Okay, so this is the part of the fight now where we're just going to be constantly playing safe. Like, we can just close out this fight right now since of all the damage we have and all the orbs that we have. So do a level 2 combo since I know that's a full heal. And let's see. Yeah, and then I'm gonna start spamming level 2 combos with Mithra because that hits many times. Here we go. Yeah, Zeke's going to die, but that's, you know what? I'm gonna wait until we have full meter before I revive Zeke, because that means that I'll have enough. What's it called? I'll have enough aggro on me. Not to mention that now I can also manipulate when this happens. I could go for the Gravity Blizzard right now. I'm gonna get Zeke up first, and then the Gravity Blizzard is gonna make the entire team invincible for the duration of a Twin Barrel Autocannon. So that's kind of the thing though, this fight, if you're able to fully take advantage of all your invincibility cooldowns, then this fight will actually be fairly smooth. Obviously there will be some strange cases where randomly everyone's gonna get hit by the Doom, and even if you have a debuff cancel on any of your blades, it might not necessarily work unless you're already at full affinity. Okay, so here comes the Ultra Annihilation Flare. I'm going to go ahead and switch into Ascended form. And right when this comes down, I'm going to press the plus button to seal the deal, and this is going to be curtains for Mr. Ice Cube Man. Now, if I had a Dahlia on my team, it would be a lot easier for us to actually break those 3 orbs in the middle. So if you have a Dahlia on your team, then definitely go for that. But since we don't though, we're just going to go ahead and start with Cassandra. And we should be able to break 2 orbs in this round. Remember, if you're able to break like 4 easily, then it shouldn't be that bad. You know what though? I want the damage from Herald. This is one of the other things too. You also like have to consider how powerful the level 1 combos of your characters are when you're starting off a combo. But yeah, definitely have Herald. Like, her level 1 special is like the best in the game. And we also hit the we hit that orb, the Dark Orb. So this is gonna be a break. It's a guaranteed break for most of these ones too. Yeah, Theory. Go for that super effective. Why not? Do you know what? It looks like... No, I don't think we'll be able to. Will we? Yeah, okay, no, we'll have Herald then. Because if Herald can finish it off, then her level 4 combo is definitely going to do the most damage out of all the characters that we have. So yeah, that worked out much better than I expected. It's easier to get full burst if you have an Ascended Mithra or Numa on your form, in your party. And that's kind of the thing though, like, you can take advantage of whatever you have. She does come free. So that's going to be curtains. Look at all that damage. Yikes. Really, really fun stuff. And look at all the points that we're getting. I cannot wait for New Game Plus, the new update that's coming out this week, because what's going to happen there is we will be able to refund the weapon art forms. We're actually going to be able to refund those ones to get special bonuses like additional accessory slots, and I think even Ox Cores. That's going to be amazing. But yeah, that's Tyrannotitan Kurodil. I know we've seen this boss many times before, but I do like kind of showing the kind of approaches that you take with him. He's a very fun boss, and that's kind of part of the reason why I like fighting him so many times, because he's essentially a punching bag. A really big, scary, toothy punching bag where you can learn or test out what team compositions work best for gathering elements. So hopefully you guys could benefit from that, and hopefully you guys can actually use this as your way of finding it out. As long as you're able to have everyone at max HP or close to max HP most of the time, then you will have no problems against this boss. He is far from the hardest of the bosses, and he's still a fairly decent challenge. So yeah, guys, thanks very much for joining me on this little Superboss showcase. I believe we actually have one more after this, and I can't wait to show off that one too. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. So guys, thank you for joining me, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.